in Sardinia, Italy. This is the Island X3.
Marlene's into the back of Sorensen. She can't see, she's off the road. Axiona Signs have got it. They've got it by 600ths of a second. R.J Anderson goes cross-country. Axiona Signs has stopped out on track. Championship leaders in serious trouble. All to play for here.
Hyperdrive now.
A racing series with a difference. Extreme E puts the environment at the heart of everything it does. Here in Sardinia, the drivers took time to join one of the championship's legacy programs to learn more about wildfires in the region and the new technology used to fight them.
So we're here at one of the rapid response units for wildfires. So here is the province around Cagliari. This is where they're going to have the rapid response from. So they get a call in the building behind us, they get kitted up in the helicopter, in the trucks and off to the fires to try and put them out before they spread into big fires. And then we're going to be having a go and trying to simulate a response unit ourselves. I'm sure it's not going to be as neat, but it'll be really cool to understand it from their side.
Good morning, everyone.
Hello.
And when I arrived the call, in 5 minutes, we have to go to the helicopter, go up and go to the fire.
So today we learned how they get into the helicopter in 5 minutes. Don't worry, I'll protect you, okay? There are more than 7 stations like this. They've had to increase their efficiency to get to the fires as quickly as possible. I mean, 1,000 fires is almost 3 fires per day. I mean, they're exposed to a lot of danger every single day. We also learned from Vodafone how they use virtual reality to learn how to combat fires and get used to the situation.
Vodafone Business have been working with Extreme E to tackle climate change. So what we have is a virtual reality headset, allows firefighters to do training ultimately across different training scenarios. And those training scenarios are typically those scenarios which are costly or hard to replicate, but also the training can be recorded as well, so they can watch it back at a later date.
The Mediterranean's been pinged as a global hotspot of wildfires, and within the Mediterranean itself, Sardinia is pretty much central. And not surprisingly, given the vegetation, given heat waves and so on, wildfires are a tremendous problem. It's an extraordinary measure of success that climate scientists aren't the only ones telling the story anymore. This morning we've had our famous racing drivers, our best ambassadors here, engaging with the firefighters, talking to them and learning about the intricacies of climate change.
Over the last few years we've combated wildfires in our own way with MedSea Foundation, through planting trees, through looking at the impact it has on local businesses like beekeepers. But we also wanted to come to this fire station with Corpo Forestale to tell the story of the people on the ground combating these wildfires.
It's a convergence of sport, of government, of business, and that's the sort of thing that we need really to resolve climate change, and this sort of cooperative effort will see us on the right track.
Back on course, and it was time to go racing again with the first qualifying of the day for round 8 of the Island X3.
Everybody gets a good start, everybody in Noah hyperdrive immediately, an extra 100 kilowatts of power on the run to the first corner. McConnell sideways in the X44, up on 2 wheels, Sebastian Loeb around the outside of the bush. We saw Ekstrom have to take that line yesterday. Goodness me.
Bad luck for Carl Cox's Timo Scheider at the front as the car stopped, putting Abt Cupra into the lead, with Sebastian Loeb holding position up to the switch zone. And despite Veloce pushing hard, Abt Cupra's Clara Anderson finished the job to take the first win of the day.
Good job, Clara. Good job, Clara. Good job.
Yeah, once again, it's breakfast for champion.
Good job, team. Good job.
P2 JVXE. Where's the Veloce? So Veloce have stopped Molly Taylor trying to do a reset on the car.
With Veloce's car stopping just in the last corner from the finish line, it meant they dropped from 2nd to 4th. A tough first result for the team. On to Heat 2, and only 4 cars lined up at the start line. After the dramatic second roll of the weekend for Neon McLaren's team the day before,
Molinaro sideways in the championship car gets launched!
they couldn't repair the car in time for round 8.
Everybody uses the hyperdrive except Timmy Hansen. He drops back, and Kristoffersson does claim that track. R.J. Anderson is slightly in front of him, rolls the car into turn 1. Anderson gets the whole shot. Timmy Hansen out the back.
A great job by R.J. Anderson, who defended the lead up to the switch, but that lead didn't last long due to a slow driver changeover.
That's a bad switch. That is a bad switch by GMC Hummer. They've lost 2 positions in the switch zone, so that really hasn't gone their way.
Coming into the water splash, Katie Munnings ran into the back of Amanda Sorensen, and with the hood up, couldn't see where she was going.
Oh no! Stuck in a ditch at the side! So that's a huge ditch disaster for Katie Munnings. She was so close.
Katie, can you reverse from there? Can you reverse?
No, it's stuck completely.
Rosberg X Racing, get a hold on. Going to be very tight. Laya Sands tries round the outside, but Arlen Kolinsky just no! Acciona Sainz have got it!
P1, ¿has pasado, Laya? Laya se ha adelantado, tía, hemos ganado la quali. Sales delante por 60 milésimas. Buen trabajo, Laya.
We lost by 0.1. Okay.
Why did we lose 5.1?
Because they crossed the finish line flag first, it seems.
What?
Extreme E strives for equality both on and off the track. Over the last 2 seasons, the championship has made huge strides with the Racing for All programme, which has given a new generation of engineers a chance to work directly with the Extreme E race teams.
Racing for All. It was set up last year and it was designed as a programme to be able to help underrepresented youth to be able to get their first step in their career.
Racing for All can be an amazing opportunity for a student to get into the sports industry and motorsport industry in particular, and just understanding how a team works behind the scenes, because on TV you only see some parts of it.
I think it's amazing that Extreme E is providing these opportunities for young students, aspiring mechanics, engineers to get involved in the motorsport. Many series will talk about giving opportunities, but I like how Extreme E has practically implemented this decision.
So Racing for All was born out of the report called the Hamilton Commission, which Lewis Hamilton produced a number of years ago, and that looked at underrepresentation of motorsport in certain groups, and we wanted to take that and make it a global initiative.
Racing for All, it's there to provide someone an opportunity to enter into the motorsport sector. One of the requirements is that you need to have less than 1 year's experience within the motorsport sector.
A good thing about the Racing for All initiative is that you don't need experience, and I don't have any. So that was something that really drew me to this opportunity.
The main involvement that I have within the team as a junior engineer is monitoring a lot of the onboard systems within the car, so whether that's the camera, just making sure that the tyre sensors are all calibrated. It's a really nice opportunity to work with the mechanics.
So when we set out this programme last year, we had one goal in mind. At the end of this season, season 3, we were going to achieve half the paddock taking a Racing for All candidate. And in Scotland, we achieved just that. We had 5 candidates from 5 different teams in the paddock. We had McLaren, Chip Ganassi Racing, X44, Veloce and Andretti.
Being in the Extreme E paddock has definitely solidified that I want to be a race engineer, trackside engineer. It's one thing doing the theory, watching ideally from the couch, watching on F1 and the TV, but actually being in the paddock, being there in person, it has solidified that I want to do this.
Racing for All is such an important initiative because motorsport has generally been a very narrow demographic, and we're trying to widen that.
So Racing for All mirrors the values of Extreme E. We're about gender equality, inclusivity, and Racing for All offers that opportunity for people from these minority groups and backgrounds that would never get a chance to be in motorsport.
I think Racing for All is a wonderful programme and gives a brilliant opportunity to all students out there.
In the second qualifying round of the day, the teams crucially needed to give it all and get their best result to make it into the grand final.
Oh, Gutierrez all the way around the outside for X44. That is a brilliant move. Is she inside, though, into the next corner? She is.
Yes, Chris. Good job. Keep going.
In the hunt down, Rosberg X Racing got a 10-second penalty after Michaela Arlen-Kotlinski dropped a flag. Therefore, her teammate Johan Kristoffersson had to get some gap advantage to keep the position.
This is all on the clock now, it's so close. Kristoffersen's got to go for it here, he really has. McConnell then, with Kristoffersen breathing down his neck. Kristoffersen needs that gap back to Cooper to remain at 10 seconds at the minute. I don't think he's quite got enough.
And despite Kristoffersen crossing the finish line in second, the penalty dropped them to third, a risky position to qualify for the grand final.
P3. We were P3 after the penalty.
How much?
Half a second. 0.5.
Ah! Faces of slow.
Big focus and tension going into the last wheel-to-wheel qualifying race, which would decide the top 5 teams who would progress to the grand final and the ones who would fight for maximum points in the redemption race.
Everybody jumping together sideways in the background, backward, looks like he might have edged it, shuts the door across, Taylor gets fired! Oh no! All the way off the side of the road, that is exactly what Veloce didn't need.
Go round, don't give up.
After the switch, bad news was just around the corner for championship leaders Acciona Sainz.
The car stopped.
Oh, reset for Ekstrom. Championship leaders in serious trouble. All to play for then. All to play for here. But meanwhile, up front, Hozos trying to defend. R.J. Anderson goes cross-country through the bushes up the inside line. R.J. Anderson makes the pass. They're on the last lap. It's a jump to victory for GMC Hummer-EV Ganassi Racing, overtaking a couple of flags from the end of the race.
All right, buddy. That was a pretty epic. Well done. That's P1.
The Odyssey 21 issues for Acciona Sainz and Veloce Racing meant that they would battle it out in the redemption race, putting RXR, X44 Vida Carbon, Apt Cupra, Chip Ganassi Racing and JBXE in the last grand final of the Island X Prix. Ever the unpredictable championship, this weekend saw an unfortunate incident in free practice 1 with Emma Gilmore of McLaren. In her place, championship driver Tamara Molinaro stepped up alongside Tanner Faust to compete. A concept unique in the motorsport world, the championship drivers have proved an important part of Extreme E over the years and arose out of a problem that needed solving.
So we're really proud of the championship driver program. Essentially it's a reserve male driver and a reserve female driver. It started before the first race ever in season 1. We thought, hang on, we're still coming out of COVID. If we had a COVID outbreak and one of the teams couldn't race because their driver was in quarantine, so we thought, well, as a championship, let's provide 2 drivers.
The championship driver in Extreme E is actually a coveted position now. Every single one of the championship drivers we've had has always gone into a team. So it's a great stepping stone for them to be able to introduce themselves to Extreme E and be a real player on this platform.
Honestly, being the championship driver is a great opportunity for all drivers are in the position. As a male or female, you can most likely replace 10 different drivers.
So my beginning in Extreme E was actually that I got invited to, first of all, the rookie test 2 years ago to do some laps with Acciona Sainz. Then I also got a call from James Taylor to be the reserve driver. I think it's a great opportunity, and when the opportunity comes, you need to take it.
My start in Extreme E was definitely all from the championship driver role. Actually, last year, the Sardinian event was my first time. And when I got the call from James Taylor, do you want to be the championship driver? It was so awesome. You look at the paddock, there's Matthias Ekstrom, Johan Kristoffersen, Tanner Faust, all these huge names. And then someone like me getting to drive now with X44 with Lewis. Those opportunities present themselves once you've been given the chance to prove yourself. So, championship definitely gave me the opportunity to prove myself as a driver.
The championship drivers are part of our Extreme E team. They help us design the course, they help us then test the course using our championship car, working very closely with Spark. So they really are part of our core organisation team.
I was combined as well with track designing when everything started back in the days. And right now, O'Donovan and Tamara Molinaro, as male and female, they're taking care about the track as well. When they're on site, like a week before the event happening, they take care that the Odyssey, the race car, is matching to the racetrack, that the battery level, that the power level is matching. And on the race week and weekend, they're on standby. And if there's a chance, they are here.
So there's some great success stories from being a championship driver, and even last year we had Timo and Tamara that were championship drivers for a whole season, and they got a podium here last year. But one of my favourite stories, I think, is with Clara Anderson.
Last year in Chile, I was again the reserve driver, and I had to step in for Utah, for Apt Cupra, and straight into qualifying, no practice. I was a bit nervous, but we ended the weekend with a P3 on the podium, so that was an amazing day. And then I also had the luck to stay with the team for Uruguay, where we took the win in the final. And those two races were so important for my career in Extreme E. And when you are the reserve driver, you need to be on it. If you need to step into the car, you need to be fast. This is the time to prove yourself, and it's not mentally easy, but you take every chance you get.
It was now time for redemption as 4 keen teams took to the start line. Championship leaders Acciona Sainz, together with Veloce Racing, Andretti Altaquilat and Carl Cox Motorsport.
Over the jump in the middle, 4 cars side by side or a bit sideways from Ekstrom. He's going to back out of that. That's sensible. Whole shot for Kevin Hansen. So Kevin Hansen gets through, and then Timo Scheider gets in front of Timmy Hansen. And Matthias Ekstrom at the back of the pack. At the minute, this is worst case scenario for Acciona Sainz, but I think Ekstrom did the right thing. Never panic is the key. He had a big moment over the jump, he straightened it out, now he's got to start picking people off, but these are some seriously quick drivers to get past.
While championship contenders Veloce led up to the switch in a clean race, it couldn't get much worse for Acciona Sainz in the first water splash.
What happened, Matthias?
Yeah, the wiper is totally f***ed up and I can't see anything.
Not a happy Matthias Ekstrom, who did everything he could to finish the lap.
There is nothing he can do. And likewise now for Elias Sands. Oh, they're going to try and fix it. Go on, get in.
Go on, mate. Meanwhile, Molly Taylor was flying through the course, but the battle was behind for second place between Leah Block and Katie Munnings.
Oh, Block loses a position. So she runs a little bit deep on the brakes and loses the position there. Looking back, oh, look at that, getting roosted. Just look at the difference. You just wait. Molly Taylor, though, has done a great job with her teammate Kevin Hansen. And Veloce will win the redemption race here in Sardinia for round 8, jumping over the line for the finish.
Good job, buddy. Well done, well done.
Thanks, guys. Nice little touch for the finish of the top day.
The big story here is that still out on track is Laia Sands, championship leader with Matthias Ekstrom and Acciona Sainz, and they are going to score only 2 championship points in round 8.
Extreme E has one of the most competitive driver lineups in motorsport. After an impressive start in Uruguay last season, number 99 GMC Hummer EV went for a full American lineup with the addition of off-road racing champion R.J. Anderson for the start of Season 3.
I'm R.J. Anderson, and I race in Extreme E for the number 99 GMC Hummer EV Chip Ganassi Racing. My whole world in motorsports started actually riding dirt bikes. My mom, her one rule was I could go riding for fun with my friends and go do track days and stuff like that, but I was never allowed to race. When I started go-kart racing, it was actually just something me and my dad were kind of doing for fun. There was a go-kart track right below his work called Adams Motorsports Park. I got my first go-kart for $800. It was nothing special. My dad grew up in the off-road world as a crew chief his entire life. I had a slight intro to that when I was about 15 years old, and I was instantly hooked. I got a chance to hop behind the wheel of a UTV, and once I got foot in the dirt, I was like, go-karts, you were fun, but I'm moving on with this. It's kind of a funny transition because Mom hated dirt bikes so bad I couldn't race them. I got into go-karts, then I got into off-road, so I'm not sure she really got her wishes, and she probably wishes she maybe just let me have a phase and get over it. The thing I loved most about racing in general was the adrenaline rush. It didn't matter if there was 4 people on the track or 24 people. It was trying to do your best to get better every single weekend, and the adrenaline rush is what I live for. Growing up in the United States, and even more specifically the Southwest, my whole life I've been able to basically ride a dirt bike right out my front door, so it's in our culture. I think that's one reason it was ingrained in me at such a young age. I feel like one of the turning points in my career was when I was able to win the 50th anniversary Crandon World Cup. Crandon, Wisconsin is a huge race for us in short course in the United States, so to be able to win the 50th anniversary, it was the biggest race we've had by far and kind of put me on the map and turned my career path just a little bit. In Uruguay last year, I was thrown in kind of the deep end here in Extreme E. The Chip Ganassi racing team had their sights set on getting 3rd in the championship. Kyle unfortunately couldn't make it to that round, and I know I had big shoes to fill. So the learning curve was absolutely like this. There was no testing. It was definitely a lot to take on in a very, very short amount of time. If you told RJ 15 years ago that he was going to be racing in Chile against the drivers that I will be racing against, I probably would have just laughed and be like, yeah, how are you going to do that, RJ? Racing is more than a job. It's like family to me. At home, when I'm racing in the States, we spend time on the track, we spend time at work together, and we also spend time off the track. And it's been cool to come to this Chip Ganassi racing team and have the same feeling, you know. I've not known these guys near as long, but we're doing it as a team and as a family. Getting my teeth wet here in Extreme E is a tough thing because now I've got a taste of it. Now I want to compete with the best. I want to compete for wins every single weekend. To be able to come home with an Extreme E championship would mean the world. I think there's a lot of races I haven't got to touch on yet in my young career, and I'm looking forward to chasing those as my future comes around.
The grand final was about to begin to crown a new winner for round 8 in the last race of Season 3's Island X Prix. Would Rosberg X Racing claim victory to move to the top of the ladder and take the leadership away from Acciona Sainz?
Down towards turn 1, RXR just gets away from the edge of Cupra, so that's Loeb and Christopherson on the run to the first corner. Down the outside, Fraser McConnell for X44, sideways, 3 abreast, McConnell goes around the outside line of the bush, gets the whole shot.
Keep pushing, you're pulling away, great job.
In the background, Christopherson is level with Loeb just in front now. So Christopherson slots into P2, Loeb goes wide, sends it out deep. Can he get something on the exit? He's gone all the way around the outside. He takes the position back, so Christopherson drops back to P3. Christopherson now into the water splash. Let's see what they do with the wipers through here. Christopherson's gone in with the wipers off and now puts them on, and he's lost a position. So R.J Anderson gets past while the wipers are completely, the screen is totally and utterly covered in mud.
After dropping back to 4th, a hungry Johan Christopherson kept pushing relentlessly in the RXR machine, using every inch of the track in a great battle.
Let's go, RJ. Out your bumper and looking.
Oh, look at that!
Off the side of the track, Rosberg X Racing's Christopherson is leaving no stone unturned in trying to find a way through. I think he's done it. Goes the long way round, carries that extra speed, having gone over the rocks down the side of the track. That was a brilliant pass, amazing.
And his next target was at Cupra's Sebastian Loeb.
This is a masterclass from the 5-time World Rallycross champion and, of course, Season 1's Extreme E champion. He's going after every point.
I have absolutely never seen anything like this.
It was X44 Vida Carbon Racing leading into the switch zone, with Cristina Gutierrez taking over.
3.1 seconds back for RXR, and just a few seconds behind her is Clara Anderson for Cupra. So little gaps now, a little bit more breathing space. Can Arlen Kotlinski close the gap on, and even more importantly, pass Gutierrez for the win?
Big gap behind, 5.6, so no risk. Take no risk. You're doing such a great job.
But as RXR was running out of time, Cristina Gutierrez went to cross the finish line in first to take the top step of the podium in round 8 of the Island X Prix.
Fraser McConnell did a brilliant job to bring that car to her in the lead, and she brings it home for the second win of the year for X44 Vida Carbon Racing. Yes!
That's what I'm talking about. Well done, Chris.
Well done, guys. You deserve it.
Rosberg X Racing recover their championship hopes here, taking P2 in round 8, and Cupra get P3. It's going to be a hell of a fight down in Chile.
Our feelings is the best possible because we start the weekend as not the best. Everyone has given everything to put the car in the best condition for the second race.
It's amazing. Even back to round 5 and 6, we left there with a bad taste in our mouth. I was looking forward to coming back, and then even after yesterday I was like, man, this place must be cursed or something, because we're not getting the results we want or deserve. Left yesterday very disappointed with a DNF in the redemption final. I hated the redemption final race. I don't want to go in another one. But the X44 Vida Carbon Racing team gave us such a strong package to go out there. So we really wanted to leave here on a good note, and we couldn't have done a better one. At Cupra, I had Seb start in the final, and he chose slot 3, which was a little confusing to me. It made me feel like he knew something that we didn't. It's like pointing into the bush. I chose number 2 because Christina had a fantastic start from that same position in the previous race. I knew I had to trust my reaction time, and I hit that magic hyperdrive button. When I went into the corner, I looked right and I looked left and I didn't see anybody, so went and tucked behind the same bush that Christina did in the previous race.
He gave me the car, and it was the longest lap in my mind. I just go be careful, no drop flags, nothing, and try to finish and celebrate.
I've been giving absolutely everything, sacrificing a lot before races to make sure that I'm in the right mindset, right physical shape to get the job done.
Yes! Let's go! Yes!
When I got the call to replace Sebastian Loeb, 9-time consecutive World Rally Champion, I was like, these guys can't be serious, this must be a prank call. But after that they explained that opportunity doesn't have to come at the cost of performance. That was a real eye-opener for me to say, these guys are really serious about giving people opportunity and putting people that might not necessarily have the chance to get in an Extreme E seat.
I love to see, for example, Lily in the team. She's giving everything, and I love to see young people, people new. For me, it's one of the best things in the team.
Now it's kind of domino effect into all the other teams, and hopefully the rest of the paddock will be able to all have a Racing Fall candidate.
This helmet is made by the kids from the hospital in my city. They make me a lot of good energy, and I hope they are happy to win. And there are some of them watching from the start, so this is for them.
Motorsport is the definition of our emotional roller coaster. We have to enjoy these moments when they come. They don't come very often, and when they do, you have to celebrate it because you've worked so hard for it.